Welcome back. Oil prices this morning are lower. Take a look at Brent and crude, which have reversed course this morning. Brent is under $100 now. It had been up earlier. It is down 1%. Crude is at 93.87. That's down almost 2% right now. Despite Iran's new supreme leader claiming that the Strait of Hormuz will remain effectively closed as a tool to pressure the enemy, quote unquote. The regime further disrupting shipping and fueling fears of a prolonged energy shock. But President Trump is hitting back, ensuring the safe flow of oil in the Strait of Hormuz. Watch.
Now that tankers are being attacked in the Strait of Hormuz, how are you going to ensure the safety of oil flowing through there?
I think you can see great safety. It is going to be very, very quickly. We have decimated that country. They're paying a big price now for 47 years of killing. They killed you. You have relatives, we all have relatives, what they've done, and now they're paying for it.
Now, I just want to point out that Piper Sandler is reporting that India has one oil tanker moving out of the Strait that could be one of the positives that is helping oil prices this morning move lower. Joining me right now is Sofreh Capital CEO and Pishevar Institute founder, Shervin Pishevar. Shervin, great to see you. Thank you very much for joining us. The Iranian regime is now also going after banks across the region. They say that the banks in the Middle East that are tied to the U.S. and Israel are going to be under attack. You were born in Iran. Your parents were born in Iran. Your reaction to all of this?
Absolutely. My parents, we had to escape Iran. My father was on the execution list by Khamenei and Khamenei. So, we were saved by America. Unfortunately for my brothers and sisters, 93 million of them in Iran, they've been living in an open-air prison and now an extermination camp. The Iranian people have been hunted for the last 47 years, and now the hunters are being hunted. As you saw, the Basiji forces have been being attacked by the drone forces, by the Israeli-American army. The Iranian people have been told to shelter in place by the Crown Prince, who I'm blessed to be an advisor to for his Iran Prosperity Project. There is a real plan here. There is a plan to wait and shelter, have the Iranian people who came out in droves, millions of them, in January, when President Trump said to them, come out in the streets, we have your back, and they did. And they listened to the Crown Prince, who they were calling out by name in the millions. He is the only legitimate leader that can lead Iran to a new future and a new democracy. There's a transitional plan to be had, and the people came out in the streets to support that and his leadership, and they were mowed down by this evil terrorist regime. 43,000 people were killed in 48 hours. That's terrible. What stopped the protests is this genocidal regime that is now attacking its neighbors, attacking banking infrastructure, airports. Imagine if they had a nuclear bomb, they would use it.
Of course, and that's what we're talking about, and that's why President Trump said he had to go in. Now, you just mentioned you're an advisor to the Iranian Prosperity Project, which is run by His Highness and opposition leader, the former Crown Prince, Reza Pahlavi. I want to know your thoughts on whether or not the people are with Reza. He was on with me when he announced that project just days before the strikes began. Watch here.
The first phase is focused on the immediate. What do we need to do in the first 100 days post-regime collapse? Look, we anticipate that as a result of a fundamental change in Iran, this would probably represent an over $1 trillion worth of revenue to the American market in the span of the first 10, 15 years, should things change. And there are a lot of Iranian Americans that are representative of various companies from Silicon Valley to other places who are willing to immediately step in and invest billions of dollars into the Iranian economy. And all of that would bring about a very prosperous future for the Iranian people, but also, I think, in the best interest of America. The Iranian people are our true allies and partners. That should be the horse we bet on from now on.
Now, obviously, that would be incredible if you were to get to that point, Shervin. But that was before the what's left of the Iranian leadership named Khamenei's son, Mojtaba Khamenei, the leader of the people. What do you know about Khamenei's son?
Mojtaba Khamenei is even more evil than his father. He was in charge of the assassinations, executions, torture, and rape It's very telling that there's no proof of life. There's a written letter. All signals are pointing that he's either in a coma or dead already, and they're just trying to buy time. As you saw, the Crown Prince has a 175-page plan that we've put together. I have it here with me to reconstruct Iran and make a new Iran that is at peace with its neighbors, at peace with Israel, at peace with America. The Crown Prince has a visionary plan called the Cyrus Accords, which I was lucky to go to Israel and work on and meet the President of Israel with the Crown Prince's team. The Cyrus Accords, we hope to be able to sign in a free Iran at the tomb of Queen Esther. And Purim was just last week. These were stories that my mother raised me with, of Cyrus the Great freeing the Jews 2,500 years ago, Queen Esther securing the freedom and security of the Jews in Iran. In biblical symmetry, 2,500 years later, it's the Jews that are helping free the Iranians from the slavery that they've suffered in for the last 47 years.
Well, it's just incredible what has gone on, what the people have endured, and, of course, how this evil regime has gotten away with it for those 47 years. Shervin, we're going to keep a constant focus on it, and we will talk with you along the way. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Maria.
Shervin Pishevar joining us this morning. We'll be right back. We've got a big hour coming up. You're watching Mornings with Maria live on Fox Business.